the moment. I don't think it'd be too warm. However, it's not nearly as cold as the rest of South Africa would be, and the water's probably quite pleasant. I know certain times of the year in winter when we go up to the bush on holiday, we'll still swim because the days are lovely. Days are very, very nice. But this water temperature will be much cooler, obviously, than it is in the summer. Look at all those youngsters in and amongst the adults there. You see, and this is also a way for the young to learn how to swim. So we were chatting about that earlier. When or what age will the young be able to swim?
Oh, check the monitors running.
Where was it?
The monitors.
Oh, there, the monitors chasing one another. Yeah, well spotted. There are two monitor lizards just in the foreground. Look at that. There's one there, and one was chasing the other one. Those are two water monitors. And that elephant looks like he was upset with the monitor lizards, perhaps. That's amazing. You see, there goes the other monitor lizard. It was chasing the one, and now they've both decided maybe we should leave leave this area near the elephant. It's so funny how elephants pick up on little creatures like monitor lizards, and they don't tolerate them at all. Look, yeah, I think he's chasing another one, or chasing a bird now. Young boisterous bull. Let's see if he goes back into the water. He's chasing a bird. He's chasing what I think is a little three-banded plover. That's what it looked like, and it flew away from him. And there's also, it's three-banded plovers, and there is also blacksmith plovers on the ground there, and that's what he was chasing. I don't know why. Maybe he's just being difficult.
He's being naughty.
He's being naughty. He's being a typical teenager. Yeah, that's it. Spot on, Seb, spot on. Look at him go. He's exquisite bliss. And so the elephant said, "Scram, get away." Yeah, exactly. And if you notice, no one's going to argue with that big elephant, even though he's a young bull. Look how he just back into the water, joining the herd. And look, they're splashing around. This is really, really wonderful. Wow. Our beard, you're 100% correct. The elephants are aware of smaller things. You say a lot more aware than you thought they would be. Definitely, the elephants are still alert and aware of what's going on around them, and especially the smaller things like the birds, the monitor lizards. It's amazing, and I don't know why they would want to chase them away, other than perhaps it's playful behavior. But elephants don't like a lot of animals getting too close to them. They'll often chase them. Antelope, or I've seen them chasing buffalo. I've seen them chasing rhino. I've seen elephants chasing lions. Obviously, when there are predators around, the elephants pick up on the scent. They don't like predators. Leopards, lions, wild dog, hyena. Elephants will definitely chase them. Another wonderful echo of the trumpet. Now, little Sophia, you want to know how old these elephants are. So Sophia, there's a few different ages here. The really young elephants that we saw earlier was probably about 2 years old, and if we look at that frame there now, that little one, That's probably about 3 years old, 4 years old, I would say. It's always difficult, Sophia, to gauge exactly how old the animals are. Some of those other elephants, I would say, are between 18 and 25, probably. And some of the bigger females that moved out now are maybe a little bit older. So they're still young, I suppose, Sophia, compared to some of the big old elephant that we see. Now Mia, also 6 years old. Now Mia baby elephant, when they are born, they're actually quite big. I'm just trying to think of the weight. Oh dear, I think it's close to 100 or 120 kilograms. A little one, little elephant, not so little elephant. Yep. Again, it's always nice when you get the numbers right, eh, Seb? It's about 100 or 120 kilograms for a young elephant calf when it is born. So that's quite big. Yeah, that's I mean, that's heavier than me. So to give you an idea, that's very, very big. A very big calf for an elephant. Even though they look very small, if you get right up close to them, they're quite big. They're big little big. Does that make sense? Big little animals. All right. Well, you know what, everyone. It looks like the guys are on fire this afternoon. I might sit around with these elephants a little bit longer. My main man Tristan has found something special for you.
We have indeed. We found the little prince of Djuma. So as you can see, a big yawning Hosana in the most perfect golden light down behind Twin Dams Wall. So we just picked up his tracks coming over the main road, and well, it was a quick tracking session to find him, and there he is. Isn't he looking wonderful? And in, like I say, the most perfect golden light down by the water's edge. I wonder if he hasn't been trying to hunt himself some terrapins and monitor lizards and varying other animals that he finds around here. I'm pretty sure that this will mean that our painted snipe might have taken a leave of absence with Hosana hanging around. I don't think the snipe would have hung around if he's on the edge of the water, but isn't he looking beautiful? Look at the size of those front paws, massive, and he's almost looks as though he's grown a little bit since I last time I saw him. I haven't seen Hosana in probably about 2 weeks, maybe a little bit less than that, but he looks bigger than normal. In fact, when I saw him from far away, I wasn't 100% sure who it was. But it really was a big surprise to find him here. I didn't think we were going to see him. And there's also tracks for female as well, so I don't know if little Shongile is hanging around. There's small female tracks that are not going north. They were going up and down just on the eastern side of where he is at the moment. So I don't know if maybe she's lurking somewhere in a thicket here as well. Wouldn't it be nice if the two of them were together and both lounging around in their old favorite haunt? But it seems as though he is starting to kind of wake up. I've seen him grooming himself and starting to yawn, which is an indication that sometimes they will start waking up and moving. And if we find yawning, it's going to be perfect, because it means that hopefully he'll get up and move, and hopefully it's not going to be south. But his tracks do come from that direction, so I'm hoping he's going to go northwards and do his usual route up towards Treehouse Dam and saunter off around that area, and that means we'll have most of the afternoon with him, which would be fantastic. But you can see he's almost got a little dewlap that's starting to grow now, so he's definitely getting very bulky around the shoulders and the head area, which is fantastic. And yes, you are looking very regal, and look at the width of his chest. He's starting to get that very big, deep chest that you see on male leopards, so he's really starting to fill out quite a bit. He was quite a big boy for his age when he was still with Kruger, but he is starting to get much bigger now. And Izzy, you say he's looking very powerful. He does look powerful today. I don't know, maybe it's just the angle that he's sitting at, but his shoulders look wide, his feet look big, and he's starting to get that much thicker neck than their head, which is often a sign of a male leopard, is they get these broad shoulders and then kind of big thick neck, and then just this head that's kind of on top of it. Females tend to go in a little bit before it goes up onto the head, whereas his neck and shoulders are absolutely massive. So really nice to see him and to be able to find him in such good condition. And he looks as though he's got not a full tummy, but his tummy does look as though he's had something. He's not completely empty, and he's most certainly still in good shape. So that's fantastic news. And we know that he had tug of war with a hyena the other day over a carcass that Tundi managed to bring down, and maybe that's just the leftovers of that in the belly, because that was 2 days ago. So I suppose he would have digested most of that by now already. So Jackie, you're wondering when I think he ate last. Well, we know that obviously he had some of that meal. I mean, he didn't get much of it because the hyenas would have taken most of it, but he definitely got some of it, and that means that he will be able to have sustained himself there. Now, he might have caught other things in the last sort of 48 hours. They'll go after monitor lizards and terrapins and all kinds of other things just to keep their stomach full. And he's also at the stage now where he's hunting quite a bit on his own. Oh, look at that. Big yawn, and I think he's going to get up shortly. Big stretch. Oh, massive pause. And so he might have fed on something small in the last few days. There we go. Up he gets. Because that tummy is not too small. Are we going to get to see him having a bit of a drink and the reflections as he walks along? I think we will. There he goes. So Paula, you're asking what sort of territory Hosana normally covers. Well, Paula, Hosana doesn't actually have a territory of his own yet, so he's still utilizing his mom's territory at this stage, so he hasn't managed to get his own territory yet. But in terms of area that he's moving, the most north that I've seen him since I've been here, that's not to say that he doesn't go further north than that, but the furthest north that I've seen him is around the Gowrie Dam, and then he goes quite far south from there. So I would say in total, in terms of hectarage or acres, I would say he's probably covering at the moment about 3,000 hectares, maybe close to 6,000 acres, but he's riding on the back of Mom's success, so that's why he's able to still move around in those areas. Now I'm going to try and see if I can't just get round to where he was, because we've lost sight of him now. Now, while we try and see if I can't find a better place to see little Hosana in his thicket that he likes to spend time, let's go back to Byron, who's got his playful elephants, and well, Team Boys strikes again.
Tristan, don't say that. The girls are going to get cross with us. And in all fairness, I mean, we had a friendly competition yesterday, and the girls won. They saw more stuff than we did. Tristan wasn't too happy about it. He said that he saw wild dog and leopard, so that's got to count for more.
I agree.
Seb agrees. I'm not that competitive, so it's fine. Only on the rugby field, probably. Where it counts. Seb. But this has been such a special sighting, and I'm so glad that Tristan managed to find that young leopard. I mean, that's amazing. We've had some luck in the last 3 days with our cats, leopards and lions. Well, mostly leopards, actually, not really the lions. Lisa, that's a difficult question. You wanted to know where my biggest or best elephant sighting was, and Lisa, I've been fortunate that I've had so many great elephant sightings. I was trying to think. I mean, watching elephant play and swim like this is just always amazing. I've been lucky to see this a few times, but some of my favorite elephant sightings are actually when I'm on foot, when walking through the bush and being able to get up close with an elephant. That always is just a great experience for me, and I really enjoy that. But in terms of a sighting, I suppose, with them playing like this in a dam, it's just amazing. Unfortunately, that tree's just in the way now. I don't want to move because our signal is a bit iffy around this area. Nice and peaceful here at the moment. I'm going to sit here a little bit longer just to see if these elephants do move out, but Tristan has still got that beautiful young male leopard, so let's go and have a look what he's up to.
We do indeed. It's still in a bit of a thicket at this stage. It's not ideal where he is, and I can't get any further forward than where we are, so we're going to have to just see if he doesn't move around a bit. He's not exactly very static at this stage. He's looking around and sort of checking what's happening, and so I would imagine that he is going to move for us again. So while he's just behind that little bush, it's unfortunately just one leaf that is in the way. Craig, I can maybe try... No, it's not going to work. Unfortunately, I've got a huge fallen over leadwood in front of me, so I'm not going to be able to push any further than what we are, but he's going to lie down anyway. So it's amazing how well he camouflages, and I laugh because we had a vehicle that drove right past him just now and didn't even notice that he was there, so it was good that we at least had the right angle, that we spotted him when he was lying right out in the open. Now when he's lying like this, it would have been a lot harder to have spotted him. That spotted coat would have blended in, and shame. It seems like he's had a long afternoon because he's now gone back to sleep. I thought he might move around a bit. He seems as though he was going to. He looked quite wide awake and he was curious and sniffing, but I think maybe where he was lying next to the water there's a lot of mud, and that mud attracts a lot of flies and a lot of insects, and that's maybe why he did move, is because those flies and insects were irritating him. He was constantly flicking his ears and his tail, and as he was walking here his tail was whipping up and down all the time, and so he was getting a little irritated and grumpy with all the insects about. So I think that's why he moved off a little bit into the thicket, but it seems as though he's not getting much respite. As you can see, he's still being chased about and ears are still flicking. Isn't that cool? What a nice surprise. Sparkle, you're asking why is he alone? Well, Sparkle, he's alone because this is how leopards live. They are the only true solitary cat that we get in this part of the world, well, in Africa. So you'll find cheetahs will be on their own from time to time, but that's normally mothers or females that don't have young ones. But other than them, the leopard is the only true solitary one. And with them, the females, the leopards, they spend time on their own because, well, that's how they move around. They like to be quiet, reclusive animals that move through thickets, and being part of a pride doesn't really lend itself to living in environments like that. The other side of it is that, unfortunately with him, if you do know his background, is we call him the Prince of Djuma because his father is Tingana and his mother was Kruger. Now Kruger was the queen of this area. She was a leopard that was around for many years, and she became very famous, and she actually disappeared around the beginning of the year, and it meant that Hosana and his sister Shongile were unfortunately left by themselves, and now they've had to deal with life on their own. And because they've now left their mother, the two of them have split apart and are no longer spending that much time in each other's company. They're actually sort of taking it very easy with one another, and you find that they will go and kind of see each other from time to time, but other than that they're not too concerned about one another's presence, and they'll move around and do their own thing and completely sort of have their own lives now, which is very cool. And so we're going to end up with two leopards that will move around in this section, and unfortunately for him, being a young male, he's going to get to the point where life is going to get a little difficult for him. You're going to find that the bigger males like Tingana, even though it's his dad, is actually going to push him away, and we're going to have a situation where he's, unfortunately, in all likelihood, going to have to move out of this area and become a dominant leopard somewhere else. So it's going to be a long time until he's actually dominant somewhere. So Lisa, you're wondering if Hosana's lighter color of his coat, so he does have a bit of a light coat, you're wondering if this would affect his hunting at all. Well, Lisa, probably not, because it seems as though little Hosana has done just fine on his own. He's taken to life by himself like a duck to water. He has made a number of big kills. We've seen him killing impalas, steenbok, duiker. Well, not personally seen him, but we know that he has been seen with those carcasses. He's also taken lots of monitor lizards, and so he seems to be able to hunt just fine. Also, this time of the year, a lighter colored coat is not the worst thing. Remember that it is winter, which means the vegetation that he's in now is green around water, but we go away from this watery area and the vegetation is brown, light shades of tan colors, and that really helps him to actually blend in very well. So even though he's a lighter color now in winter, it won't matter too much. And even in the summer months, if you look at that, yes, we're seeing the white coloration of his tummy, but those spots really do help break him up. And if he went just to the right behind that little thicket, it would be very difficult for us to see him. So his lighter color is not going to make too much of a difference, and he's not the lightest leopard I've ever seen either. When Safari, who was Karula's mother, when she was very old, around 19, she lost quite a bit of her color, and she actually got quite grey in coloration. And so they do actually get lighter than this, and when they are lighter, it doesn't necessarily mean that they will actually lose any effectiveness when coming to hunting. They're still able to blend really well. The spots are what makes the big difference and just helps break up the outline and make sure that they are okay. Now, our little boy is having an afternoon nap and is not nearly as playful as the big pachyderms, so let's go across to them and see what they're up to, and hopefully by the time you come back, Hosana will be playing too.
Well, we have not moved, Tristan. We're still sitting enjoying these large pachyderms, like you say. Beautiful elephant, still very, very playful. These two bulls, or young bulls, pushing one another and playing and splashing. It's really, really special. So there's a lot going on this afternoon. That wonderful sighting of the leopard too. I'm just really enjoying this. The light is getting perfect now. Beautiful golden afternoon light. The war horse. You wanted to know if the elephants have good night vision. I don't think it's that good, to be honest, and I'll tell you why I say that. Elephants don't have very large eyes. Now, we know animals with nocturnal vision, or better nocturnal vision, they've got really large eyes. The elephants have got very small eyes. They can probably see a lot better than we can at night, but I don't think their eyesight is nearly as good as a predator would be, like lion or leopard, for example. And like I say, with those very small eyes, I doubt their eyesight is very good in the evenings. But we do know the elephant eyesight is quite good. They can spot something from quite far away. But they're lucky they've got two other senses which are very, very good. And their sense of smell and their hearing. So they'll be able to pick up on anything that's close by, especially with their sense of smell. They're very, very sensitive. Now, Lucian, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. You asked if the elephants would hurt one another with their tusks when they play. No, I don't think so. A lot of that pushing around, you know what, look, if they, when they are playing like this, no, they won't hurt one another. However, if elephants do fight, big males, if they fight, they will use their tusks to try and harm the other, and there have been incidences with elephants killing each other, or killing another elephant, big bull killing one by piercing a tusk into the body of the other elephant. That has happened before, and that's, it doesn't happen often, but they can definitely cause serious damage with the tusks if they wanted to. But in this situation, it's purely playful behavior, so there's no reason for them to want to harm one another. Riti, you asked if a male and a female elephant would play together. Yes, most certainly. Within a herd, the younger males do sometimes play around with the females, or the playful behavior that we see here too. It can happen. It can happen, or the females playing around and pushing one another. Most definitely. But I think generally these younger bulls, when they are alone, are a lot more playful. As I was saying, there's beautiful light now coming in over the dam. Those elephants are actually almost in the shade already. But there's just lovely golden light. I don't think it's going to stick around for very long. But have a look over the dam while Seb scans. Very, very beautiful. And something that is enjoying the sun at the moment. Oh, this golden light. Still busy bathing. Has been here for a while, but these elephants have been so interesting. Is this crocodile. There he is. There's the crocodile basking in the sun, staying warm until it returns into the water a little bit later. So there's still a lot here. The hippo are obviously around. And as I said, these elephants have been so entertaining. I can't believe how long these two have stayed in the water and have played. They're clearly enjoying it far too much. It's kind of like little kids when you want to get them out the pool and they don't want to get out. They just stay in the water. Seb, you know all about that, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
We've all been. I haven't been there. I don't have kids.
Yeah, but you were one day doing it to your parents, I'm sure.
Oh, this is true. A lovely Laurie, you asked if the elephants ever mock mate. Oh, hang on, a lovely Laurie. We'll get back to your question. Let's quickly head over to Tristan with that young leopard.
Well, little Hosana has just stood up and he's noticed some impalas on the southern side of the road, and he's being a little bit naughty and like his grandmother in that he's using the car to try and hide from the impalas now. So he's crept up right towards us and he's sitting, I would say, no more than maybe half a meter from the front left tire and watching the impalas from there. So there you go, there's the car, and he's just sitting right next to us. And it is really quite something to have a leopard as close as this to us. Now, I can't even see him. That's how close he is. I can't see him over the side of the door. I can only just see what Craig is showing me. That's where he's sitting. And he's watching the impalas that are just south of us. And hopefully, because of the time of the day, those impalas are hopefully going to start pushing up towards Twin Dams to have a little drink. And if they do, well, then Hosana is in the perfect place to be able to go after this prey item, because he's going to have this little dam wall that we've got here that he can slink into, and he can use that for a bit of cover. So he's in a prime position, and hopefully the impalas will move towards where he is. Now, of course, we hope that the impalas obviously don't get eaten, but we want little Hosana to get something to eat too. So Lee Warhorse, I think it was Megs, I think I got that right. You're asking how far leopards can jump. Well, Lee Warhorse, I did get it right, there we go. So leopards can jump pretty high, and they will be able to move a lot further than what you would imagine. They can go quite high. I've seen a leopard jumping probably, I would say, must have been about at least 12 feet, maybe more into the air, so they'll be able to jump very high indeed. I know caracals can go almost 18 feet, and a leopard not too far behind them, so they're somewhere around there as well, which is an incredible leap. So from here, if impalas came over the top, it would be able to jump and grab them as they got onto the top there. So it would be quite something to be able to see that. And I've always wanted to see a leopard doing that, and a leopard jumping and catching a prey animal in midair. So it would be really cool if one of these impalas did decide to come north. They are actually slowly moving in the northerly direction. The problem is that there are quite a number of cars around, and that would generally mean that we're going to probably see these impalas moving away slightly. But that's where they all are. They're just on the right hand side there. You can see them sort of moving about, and they slowly but surely kind of coming northwards along the fringes of that Mulawati. And like I say, they often do cross here, and then they come up and then they drink down at the pans itself. So where we are is in prime position, and well, Hosana is in prime position too. Problem is that we can't move at all. I don't even want to take my foot off the brake, because if we do, he's going to get a little bit of a fright, and we don't want to give our boy a fright, and we'll let him do his thing. I ultimately wasn't planning on him coming out here. He was actually quite far in front of us. He was closer towards the waterhole side of things, and probably I would say about 10 meters from the front of the car. And then as he saw us, he sneaked quickly to the tire, and he's very clever that he's worked out already that this is a way of being able to do things. So there we go. Now he's going back down the hill to use that part as a way to be able to camouflage. So that's why he's doing that, is he's using the dam wall to be able to move around. Unfortunately for him, he's got no other chance to get where he needs to go without having to go out in the open. So he needs to be patient here and just spend his time right there and hope that the impalas don't see him. Now unfortunately it's just becoming a bit of a mess in terms of vehicles though. Oh, we're going to have a little drink. When you can't get close to the impalas, it's time to have a drink first before you start prepping for the evening of hunting. But he seems to be drinking with some vigor. Are you thirsty, Hosana? He is such a beautiful cat though. Look at those markings in amongst the green. And I must be honest, that's why I do miss the summer months sometimes. Just that contrast of some of our cats in that bright lush vegetation is absolutely beautiful. So hopefully we'll see these things coming back again this summer when the rains start to come back. But it is beautiful when you see that contrast in coloration. I wonder where he's going to go from here. Impalas will need to start coming closer, and they seem as though they know what's going on, because the impalas are just sitting on the southern side of the road, and Hosana is going to have to do a lot of work to get anywhere near those impalas. And that's not to say that he won't try. You can see he's going to try and use vehicles to his advantage. So he's going to try and creep and see if he can't get into a position where the impalas don't see him. So he's just using this car in front of us to go round. And let's see how he goes. I'm just trying to get round a little bit here quickly. There he goes. Look at him belly crawling. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So that's what leopard crawl is all about. Now I might just sneak in a legal photo quickly, because well, that is about as cool as it gets. So I do apologize if you heard a little click there, but that is so cool. Little Hosana, you are being an absolute champion this morning. I mean this afternoon. Look at how he's watching. See how he's trying to watch those impalas, but not be able to make too much of a noise or make himself too obvious. So he spends his time low down to the ground, but just enough that he can see what they're doing. This is so cool. Isn't he beautiful in that light as well? Now hopefully he's going to continue his little leopard crawl that we saw just now, because that will be very cool if he does. Now he's just sitting watching, and watch his tail. Watch how his tail is going to twitch and move as he watches these impalas. The impalas are moving off, which is not ideal for us because they're going southwards, which means that in all likelihood he's going to cross south with them. But, well, at the moment it's still just absolutely beautiful to watch him sitting and watching these impalas go. You can see them, they're just drifting off down that way and heading, and now he's going, look, Craig, there we go. Look at the way that he's crawling. See how he's using the bushes to try and get into a position where that he can walk normally. See, now that he's got behind a thicket, back to walking fairly normal. So he's doing a lot of maneuvering, and isn't this amazing from a young leopard to already be in a situation where he's able to work out that this is how he needs to move to be able to keep up and to not get spotted. It's absolutely astounding that an animal of his age is able to work this out already. So we're going to try and see if we can't just park somewhere here, and he should come out. Look, there he comes. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful in that white grass? And he's just poking his head up over the grass at the moment. So he's still just watching these impalas, but let's see how he goes. Isn't that cool? I love watching a leopard stalk like that when they get low down and they start to creep on their belly and they move towards things. It is the best thing, and especially when you get a big open section. And he did so well because these impalas haven't seen him at all. There's been no alarm call of the impalas. They're not even aware that he's here. So he's done a fantastic job to get to where he is. And now from here, at least he's got a bit of grass cover that he can utilize, and he's trying to use all these small trees to be able to then get as close to these impalas as possible. The problem for him is that the impalas are actually moving away from him a little bit, so he needs to get to a point where he can try and get in front and then just sit tight and wait for the impalas to come right in his direction. So he's definitely going to try his luck, and whether or not the impalas spot him is going to be anyone's guess at this stage. They haven't seen anything yet, and I'm just trying to see where they're all going to. They seem to be just milling around. So Izzy, you say he's so majestic and that you love him more and more every time you see him. Well, he is. He's a beautiful leopard, and he's one that is grown and made its way into the hearts of many here in the Sabi Sand. So he's an incredible cat, and the fact that he's done so well with his life in terms of being able to go off from Kruger and still be able to survive as well as he's done has been an absolute amazing thing to watch. So, you know, he wouldn't have been prepared very much for his mom disappearing and him having to go on his own, but yet he's been able to adapt so well, and he's gotten into a situation where he's been so successful. I mean, we know that he's at this stage been able to make a few kills, and the instinct of hunting is already there. So he's already worked out how to hunt, where to go to hunt, how to move to get closer, and every time he fails is going to be a learning curve for him, and he's done incredibly well to get as far as he has already. So hopefully he'll be around for a long time to come. At the end of the day, he's still quite young and quite small, which means that Tingana won't be too threatened by him just yet, and as long as he's not vocalizing or scent marking, he's not going to attract too much attention to himself, and he'll be alright. As soon as he starts doing that, though, I think unfortunately he's going to get pushed out and have to go into another area. But let's see where he goes from here. Just watching patiently. The impalas themselves are just moving off slightly. They're not too stressed about what's going on at this stage. They're just kind of taking it very easy. And definitely they haven't seen him, so hopefully he'll be able to move now. And what he's doing is he's waiting for the impalas to just move further south, and then from there he can kind of catch up and move along and cross this main road, because once he goes over the main road, it's going to be very difficult for him. He's going to be unfortunately hidden, and well, he's going to be out in the open, and the impalas are going to be able to spot him. So rather than going while they're still very close, let them drift more towards the thickets, and then he can cross over the open area and use the thickets for himself. But I'm sure he's going to go in the next little bit. I don't think he's going to sit for too much longer now that the impalas are moving off a little bit. I'm pretty sure he's going to do the same. But let's see how he goes. He's already impressed me just from his little leopard crawl that he did. Big Red, so you say, so Hosana's already using the cars for cover? He is indeed. So he's already worked out that a car is a perfect thing to be able to hide him. And it's not probably because he knows that the cars make a noise and stuff just yet. He will work that out, but it's more that it's a big dense object, and so behind it, he knows he can't see behind the car itself. So if he uses it for his advantage, it means that the impalas won't be able to see him if he can't see them. So that's why he's using it, and he's amazing that already at such a young age he's been able to work that out. And little Shongile, I'm sure, is not far behind. I'm sure she would be able to also work that out quite quickly. And I look forward to hopefully seeing her around a little bit more and seeing her in her hunting and how she's developed as a huntress over the last little bit. Because obviously, she was a little bit smaller than Hosana and she's battled to go after big animals. But we have seen her trying to hunt, and I wonder if her technique has become as refined as what Hosana's is already. It's going to be, like I say, interesting to see when he does move. The impalas are still quite close. So here we go. I wonder if this is it. There we go. So he is going to start going. And look at how he disappears in the grass. So you were asking me earlier about his color and whether or not he would blend in, even as a lighter leopard. Well, that shows you right there just how well he can blend in. Now, those geese making the noise are not good for him because the impalas will stop and listen. But there we go. He's going to cross southwards and into another property, unfortunately, which is not ideal for us. So I'm going to try and just go forward and see if I can't just keep up a view of him. So we're just going to try and see if we can't dip down. He's just crossed over the road now, so I'm just going to try and get in front quickly. Goes, he's just slinking off into the grass. You see, the grass is very long, so he's just slinking, and he's perfectly used this to his advantage. And there's lots of bushes in front that he can use as well. And you'll find he's going to probably sit for a little bit now, just watch just to see where they are, what they're doing, which way they're going to go, and then from there he'll then reposition once again. But that thicket that he's in now is the perfect place for a leopard to have camouflage and to have some cover. So let's see how he goes from here. Seems as though he's just working out what's happening. Now, obviously, we can see those big white markings of his ears. For the impalas on the other side, he's going to be so well hidden because his face doesn't have any of those big, bright white markings. Don't turn your head to face us, otherwise you're going to have a problem, my boy. There we go. Still slinking. And see, look at that. Look at those spots blending in. Isn't that amazing? Hopefully he's going to be able to get himself close enough. At this stage it looks as though I don't think that he will. Let's see. It's so open though where the impalas are. The impalas have moved a little bit further south, so it's going to be tough for him to get there. Ladybugs and daisies, you're saying it's so great to see how well his hunting skills have developed. It is incredible, isn't it, that he's already gotten to this point where he knows what he's doing and he's able to blend as well as he is now. Absolutely astounds me that he can get as low as that and just disappear. You can see he's just disappeared completely into the grass now, so we can't see him at all anymore. He's just moved south. So I'm going to try and reverse backwards a little bit, try and see if we can't get some sort of a view of him, but I don't think so. I think unfortunately at this stage he's probably going to go in as to the densest thicket as possible and probably try and disappear and hope that the impalas can't see him. But we'll try to see if we can't find him again, and while we do that, let's go back to Byron and his playful elephants.
Well, I'm so glad you got such a lovely view of young Hosana. Now, a third elephant has joined, and much to our surprise, because we were watching the two in the water, and the next thing we heard this flap behind us, and Seb and I turned around, and this elephant was running down towards us. Got a bit of a fright, but he stopped. He was just, I think he was just wondering why we was parked in his way. And then he went down and joined these two at the water, and then all three of them came out, pushed each other around, and then decided to get back into the water again. Very strange. I'm surprised they're still in the water because the sun is just about set. Now, just before you went back to, look at that, pushing one another around, wonderful behavior. Just before you went back to Tristan, I was answering a question on from Lovely Laurie. Now, Lovely Laurie asked if the elephants mock mate. Now, it's not necessarily mock mating. However, I've seen young males especially do it. And it's a sign of dominance if one mounts the other one. It's not mating as such. I suppose you could say it's mock mating then, lovely Laurie, I suppose. And it's mainly a sign of dominance when one mounts the other one. And males will do it. So it does occur from time to time, but it's to show that one is more dominant over the other one. But it's obviously not mating at all, but just showing that the one is more submissive, I suppose, to the other. I suppose that's the best way to describe it. Isn't that a wonderful view? Beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Really, really fantastic. These two are still sizing one another up. They're very playful this afternoon. These two males. Look at that, pushing each other. It's almost like this one is pushing that one into the water. It's exactly what he's doing.
Yes.
Look. It's like, just get in, man. It's fun, I promise you'll enjoy it.
Oh, that is too much.
Oh, there goes the theory that animals are not like people. I mean, you see, there we go again. He's jumping on top of the other one, basically saying, "Yeah, if I tell you to get in, just get in." But very interesting behavior. I've never seen an elephant actually go and push the other one to the water. Oh, that is awesome. Yeah, that is really fantastic. That was very funny. I've never seen that before. An elephant pylon. Just jumping on one another. Look at that. Stevie, you say they're just like kids. It would appear so, wouldn't it, Stevie? I think I was saying earlier how when you get told as a kid you need to get out the pool now, dinner's ready or lunch is ready, and you never listen. You stay in the water until the very end. And I think that's what these elephants are doing now. But I can't believe that one decided to push the other one in. That is really awesome. Temperature's starting to drop a bit now that the sun has gone down. I've had such a... Megan says it's 79 degrees Celsius or 26 degrees Fahrenheit. Megan, that is incorrect. It is much cooler out here.
I agree.
But maybe it's because we're at the dam. Maybe we're at the dam. Megan, turn your air conditioning down in the final control and you will see it's cooler outside. Oh, sorry. Putting my jacket on quickly because it is getting a bit cooler. Bobby from North Carolina, you asked if elephants would avoid an area if it's an area that they have lost a member of the herd in. No, Bobby, I don't think so, not necessarily. There's this, it's a bit of a myth about the elephant graveyards and a place where elephants go to die at old age. Now, that's not necessarily true, but there have been some patterns documented in the past of elephants moving into certain areas and eventually dying of old age. And the reason for that, when the elephants get old, when they get really old, their teeth wear down, and it makes it very difficult for them to feed. So the old elephants go into an area where there's soft vegetation, something that they are still able to eat and feed on, but usually it's not enough to sustain them, and they eventually end up dying there. Now, that is why they go into those specific areas for certain vegetation, and that's why they die in those areas. So it's not necessarily an elephant graveyard where they go there because, you know, that's just where elephant go to die. It doesn't always happen like that, but there have been patterns picked up in the past of where animals move, or the elephants move, and it's because of the vegetation that they feed on, not necessarily because it's just an area that they go to die. Now, Bobby, in terms of the elephants not going into areas where they've lost elephants before, or lost a member of the herd before, I don't think so, not at all, because often you'll find elephants moving through areas, they'll come across another elephant carcass, and I've seen a few times how they'll smell that area and they'll pick up on the scent of the carcass. You know, some people believe there's mourning which goes on there. Again, that, you know, that's basically linked to my comment about the anthropomorphism, or the adding or giving these animals human emotions. I just think, you know, we've got to be cautious with that, because I don't think we truly understand. I do think they recognize if a family member has died in that area, and they pick up on the scent. I don't know if their mourning or sadness is what we would feel, but they definitely do recognize that there is something going on there, so, or that a member died there. But again, I just don't know. I don't know how we would judge it, but there's definitely some interaction and there's some emotion shown, guaranteed there is, but I don't think it's the depth of emotion that we feel, or mourning as we understand it. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. From what I've seen with elephant behavior and that in the wild, I don't think so. I think we are going to start moving away from the dam. It's been a wonderful, wonderful afternoon with these elephant, seeing them playing, but I think, why don't we go and see what else we can find while we've still got some time. Maybe we're lucky and bump into something else. Wasn't that fantastic? Really, really, really great. And we'll leave these 3 young elephant to play in the water. Maybe they'll get out at some point. Now, Tristan, didn't lose Hosana. Hosana moved south of the boundary. Let's head back to Tristan, see what his plan is now, and we will catch up with you shortly.
Well, unfortunately, we were still sitting there and there was Hosana in the distance, but there's just so many cars, and I just feel bad when Hosana is being surrounded by vehicles, and there was guys from the south and the north and private vehicles, so we just did the responsible thing and we left him on his own, and hopefully he will be able to complete his hunting and be able to catch what he's looking for. The unfortunate thing is the cars that came from the south, the impalas ran and they moved way further south, so if he does follow them, he's going to go a lot further than where he is now. So I just thought, instead of pressurizing him, let's rather just do his own thing. But what a fantastic sighting that was, nonetheless, and a complete surprise, because I didn't expect to find him here. I thought maybe he was a little bit further south, and so I'm super glad that we got to bump into him and watch him slink about and sneak about and do his thing. Really is very cool to see, and I kind of hope that he does get a meal from all of that slinking that he's done. It takes a bit of exercise and a bit of stamina and suppleness, so hopefully he gets some return for that. Craig, was that nice? Did you enjoy that? Craig says it was pretty good, which means that it was amazing. So, punk and rock music, you want to know whether leopards will fight for dominance like lions do? Well, yes they will. They are notoriously good at fighting with one another. They maybe don't have as big a vocal fights as what we see with the lions, but when they do get into it, the males can go seriously at each other. And well, there's a video somewhere on the internet, I can't remember the name of the actual video, but if you are interested in just seeing exactly how male leopards can go at one another. There's a video of Mafufanyan, who was the father of some of Karulev's offspring and the dominant male in this section for a while. A video of him and Tyson fighting on Elephant Plains, Arathusa area, and that video just shows you just how hard they can go at each other. And it's not actually even uncommon for a male leopard to kill another male leopard in those territorial fights. Females will also fight with one another. I've seen females going at each other, and they tend to be not as physical, but they do still sometimes get into it. And there are a few cases and videos and footage that I've seen of females actually getting physical with one another, but it's not as much as what the boys do. The boys tend to like to fight with one another and claw and scrape and bite if they have to. So they most definitely do go after each other and most definitely do fight when it comes down to it. Interestingly enough though, most of the male leopard encounters that I've seen is a lot less aggressive than what we see from the lions. So even though they do fight and they do go after one another, you'll find when two male lions see one another, there is no such thing as walking next to each other and trying to kind of just establish dominance by vocalizing and scent marking. Male lions will chase one another and really go at each other, whereas I've seen Anderson and Tingana and Mvula Mafufinyan walking side by side, just calling and scent marking without actually going after each other. So you find the male leopards a little bit more tolerant than what the lions are, but they will, if it comes to it, definitely have a go at each other. Now I believe Byron is continuing with his beautiful afternoon, and well, I'm sure he's smiling from ear to ear because Byron absolutely loves elephants, and I know Seb loves it when they swim at Chitwa, so I'm pretty sure that's a very happy vehicle. But let's go across and see just how happy they are.
We are indeed a very happy vehicle, Tristan. Now, we were on our way out, but we managed to get a bit closer to these. Oh, look at the hippo yawning in the background. Fantastic. Wasn't that great? Perfect timing. As I said, we just managed to get a little bit closer to these elephants now, and they're still very, very playful. Oh, look at that. Excuse me. You can see those small eyes. Look at that. So again, we were chatting about the hippo and if they are bothered by the elephant or not, and you can see the elephant, the elephant aren't bothered at all. They're not afraid of anything, and the hippo, they are quite happy to allow the elephant to play. They're not going to get in the way of these big elephant. That's amazing. They're just having such a great time. Look at the hippo getting playful in the background. Elephant pushing one another. This is such a wonderful sighting. This really is special. Looks almost as if those tusks have been washed clean, doesn't it? All the dust off of them. They just appear to be very, very white. Now I wonder if it's also because the elephants appear to be so much darker because of their wet skin at the moment. But wonderful contrast with those white tusks, the ivory, and then the dark elephant. You can see the white of the eye of the elephant there too. Have a look at that. Lisa, you say these elephants have to be tired by now. Yeah, I wonder. They're training for a triathlon. They're just getting their swimming training in. I'm sure they're going to get out soon. Well, I've been saying that for a while, but they got out and decided to get back in again. Some guinea fowl in the background there too. I just caught a glimpse of them on the dam wall. There they go. what a spectacular sighting. We are fortunate and privileged, I think, to have sat here and enjoyed them for so long. Really, really great. Lady Starfire, these hippos will probably leave the dam within the next hour. I would guess. Usually in winter, when it's much cooler, they leave a bit earlier to go and feed. However, I'm not sure. I think also with us being around here now, they won't necessarily leave just yet. Maybe just as it gets dark. I think so, Lady Starfire. I think that's probably when they'll decide to get out and start moving around, looking for food. So I would say maybe in the next hour. Now, speaking about looking for food, it's almost time for Tristan to start looking for Amanda's food. Let's go and see where Tristan is and what he's enjoying. Is he reflecting at the moment, I believe?
Well, we're at Treehouse Dam and we're admiring the beautiful reflection of the trees in the sunset of the water. Now, it is a beautiful place to spend an afternoon and to spend some time. I really love coming to Treehouse Dam. There's always something around it, and there's such beautiful reflections that we get, especially at sunset. Because the sunset's on the western side, we often get these kind of nice colors that drift along the water surface, and you get all these trees sort of sticking out. So that's the reason why we came down and just had a little look. We were also looking for our sort of film star terrapin and hippo combination that like to spend time together. So there was the reason why we came down, was just to see if they weren't around here. But alas, there's nothing, so I think I'm going to carry on and see. I was hoping little Shongile was going to be around. It would have been really nice to have little Shongile sitting here perched on a mound. It would have completed the perfect cat today. And I think we've got all the cats today between the Mara and Djuma. So the Mara this morning had the cheetah brothers, they had lions, and well, we got the leopard here on Djuma. So it's a pretty successful cat today, if you ask me. Hopefully all of you at home agree with that and have enjoyed seeing the cats that we've had today. Feline Friday was a success with 3 leopards, so it's been, all in all, a good 2 days when it comes to the cats, and particularly the spotted ones. I wonder what else we're going to find this evening. I hope we'll find something interesting. I haven't really wondered about Shadow and her cub, because from what I can gather, they're on an impala kill somewhere in Little Gowrie area, so close to the Hofmann's boundary. I was talking to Ryan from Arathusa, and he was telling me that they've been spending a lot of time and seen a lot of Shadow and cub on Hofmann's, which is the area just south of Zoe's and that new road that we've got, which is called Mendoza Road. And so they've been there quite a bit, and so apparently they've killed this impala on the cut line of Little Gowrie, and that's where they are. So I haven't really worried about that too much, because I don't think they're actually even off that impala carcass yet. I think they're still feeding off it, so there is no real chance that they will move north if they're still on an impala kill. Now, I can't help but be sad when I drive this section of the road. This tree that you see here on the left-hand side, which I'll move back a little bit, Craig, so you can show it off. That big marula tree that we've got right next to us, that you see there with the beautiful colors behind it. That big, beautiful marula tree is the last place I ever saw Karula, and it was with both Hosana and Shongile, and all 3 of them were in the tree at one stage. So it was really quite a special sighting, and unfortunately that was the last time I actually saw her. So every time I drive past that tree, I kind of keep an eye out and hope that that would be a place that she'll be lounging once again. And wouldn't it have been nice if she was sitting up there? But it's just always reminds me of her when I drive past there. So kind of good place, good memory. especially of that sighting. It was an amazing sighting of the three of them. Spent most of my morning with them, actually. It was very cool, and that was just when I had arrived at Safari Live. So I must be honest, I'm a little bit sad that she did disappear, because I was so looking forward to spending more time with her. I had obviously had quite a lot of sightings of Kruger prior to Safari Live, and my time at both Simbambili and at Chitwa, she was around a lot, and we used to see her a lot on Little Gari, and so she was a sort of permanent part of those last years, and I was really looking forward to actually getting to spend a lot of time with her in her actual area. Now, sorry, I'm just checking here because there seem to be some tracks, but I can't see if they're hyenas or if there's something else. Now, Wendy, behave yourself. Nope, these are not hyenas or leopard. Those are far too small. They are vervet monkey tracks. So I was really looking forward to spending a lot more time with this leopard, and unfortunately, obviously, she's disappeared, and I think the chances of her being alive now is very slim, given that we are as far as we are since she disappeared. I mean, it's about 4 months now, and even if she had cubs somewhere, you know, by now she would have had them out and moving, and a female that is seen as much as she is or was would not just disappear like that without us finding her in 4 months. So I think in all likelihood she is unfortunately gone, but that will definitely be a good reminder, that tree, and hopefully one day I'll see Hosana or Shongile back in that tree again, which would be, I suppose, a bittersweet moment in a way. So I believe a lot of you are saying that is such a nice memory for myself to have, and I agree. It really is one of those memories that I will always cherish, and the reason why is it's not, you know, seeing a leopard in a tree is probably one of the most breathtaking things you can witness. I don't know why it is that the way for me, but I remember the first ever leopard I saw in a tree, which was Raven's Court female, and it just takes your breath away when there's this big cat sprawled across. But to have three, and especially when Shongile and Hosana were the age that they were, around February, you know, they were quite big already, so to have them all three in the tree together was just a very special thing. And so it is definitely a great memory to have, and well, Kruger has got lots of memories that she's given all of us, so I think we all have a special memory of her, and it was fantastic cat, and is a fantastic cat to have had around, and we were very fortunate that she had spent most of her time in this area. She still remains, as far as I know, the most successful female in terms of the females that I've followed, most definitely the most successful female in raising of cubs and contributing to an area. And that's, I think, part of the big sadness from a lot of the guides' point of views, is that it's just, you know, a female that provided so much and theoretically still had more to provide to the area, and you know, we were hoping that she would have one last litter after these two, and unfortunately that was all cut a little bit short, and I still wish I knew what happened to her. I suppose there's actually in some ways it's better not knowing. Now it sounds like Byron and Sebastian have finally decided to make their way away from Chitwa Dam. It seems like they had a wonderful afternoon, and had I not found Hosana, I would have been absolutely thoroughly jealous, but it seems as though we've all gotten our way this afternoon. Byron wanted elephants, I wanted a leopard, we both found those, and now let's hope on his way home Byron gets his favourite animal, the honey badger.
Well, Tristan, I hope I found a honey badger. That would be the cherry on top for me, I think. Well, but what a lovely afternoon. Firstly seeing the tracks, and then finding the zebra, and our plan to go and check the dams worked out, and we got to see those Playful elephant, spend all afternoon with them. Really, really very special. We'll see what else we can find. It's not quite dark enough yet for the spotlights, but the spotlights will come out soon. We'll see what we can find. So pause, you asking about the monkeys and why don't we see the monkeys that much. So pause, the thing is, monkeys and baboons are generally shy animals. They when they're moving around and foraging, they're very alert, so they'll warn each other if there are any predators around, for example, but they're very careful and they'll move through areas. It's not always easy to spot them, but they're definitely around. And like I was saying earlier, we actually get a lot of monkeys around the camp. We see them jumping on the roof and that, and the baboons generally prefer the areas with big trees that they can sleep in at night, but we do see baboons here too. They're always around. Maybe also now because it's winter, they need to be a lot more specific in what they eat, so they need to move around a lot more and go into certain areas looking for more food. And I think generally out here where it's a bit drier, maybe there's not enough food for them, so they've got to go into different areas. And that could also possibly be because, possibly be the reason why we haven't seen so many around. But it depends. They are always around. Just need to find them. The guides just need to work harder. That's it. I think Megan is lining me up here. She says, Exquisite Bliss asked if I make any animal calls. I suppose I kind of do, somewhat. All right, let's try with it. I think let's have a look at this beautiful silhouette here for a second of the tree. A lovely color in the sky now. A lot of dust around, but there's still a beautiful color. Okay, let's see if we can hear a lion. How's that? There we go.
Somewhere.
There's a lion very close by. Exquisite Bliss, there we go. There's an animal call for you. I don't know how accurate it was. You can let us know. That's my lion call. My attempt at a lion call. Not quite as loud as the lions do it, but I don't want the Birmingham males to think there's another dominant male around and for them to come and find me. Stevie, you say now we just need to see a lion. Yes, that would be great. I haven't seen lions yet since I've been back. Well, I suppose it's only been 2 days. Can't be too needy now, can we? So I'll hopefully we'll see some lions soon. The Nkuhuma Pride or the Birmingham males or any lions. Alright, I wonder, is it spotlight time yet? Just about. Not quite dark enough yet, but we'll see. I don't know what we're going to find now. I doubt they've been spotting or seeing any chameleons. I'm not sure. It's very dry. The chameleons don't really see them active in winter. But yeah, I'm not sure. Don't know if they've been seeing bush babies at the moment. Bush baby is probably still active. Alright, now let's head over to Tristan, see what animal call he can do. He was bragging earlier about looking like a buffalo. I'm not sure if he can do a buffalo call.
Well, I'm still intrigued as to what a buffalo call is. They don't really make too much a noise other than when they've got a big tawny cat attached to their rear end, and that's when they bellow and make a serious racket, which I honestly can't make. I've tried to do it and it's no good from my side of the world. I'm very poor with animal calls. I don't know why. I just never get it right. It's because I'm probably tone deaf. My mother once told me that you can do things in life, many things in life, but singing is not one of them, and so please don't. So I've taken her advice as I've gone in life, and well, I think maybe animal calls is probably part of that. So Craig and I were just discussing this now. I'm thinking, well, what animal calls can we make? And well, I've got very few that I can do, but Craig says to me he can do a pearl-spotted owlet. Craig, now I'm very intrigued at your pearl-spotted owlet. Do you think that you can do it for me? Okay, come Craig, let's turn off and then you can try. Okay, do you remember how it goes? Do you want me to play it for you first? Okay, let's play you the pearl-spotted owlet first, just to give Craig a chance, because, well, Batman, you know, he needs a little bit of a reminder. I'm glad you're feeling a little bit better though, Batman. Okay, here we go. Wait, we gotta wait for the other part. Okay, you ready? Come on.
Okay,
There we go, Craigie. Well done. Now, I helped Craig out because, well, he seemed as though he was a little shy behind us here, but he did it quite well, actually. He followed the same tone as what I did. Now, you wouldn't have heard him because, well, he's quite far from my cap. So, that's why. There we go. Megan says you were great, Craig. Well done. We did a duet there, Craig. We're like black-collared barbets. We're duetting. Don't get any ideas, though, Craig. I'm accounted for. Now, in terms of actual animal noises, I'm just trying to think what animal noises I could do. Can do impala alarm call. So they have a sort of snorting sound when they see a predator, which goes a little bit like this. There we go. So that's my impala alarm call. Lion roar. Oh, no, not good at that. I've tried that one before. I'm not great at that one. A sawing leopard. Craig, can you do a sawing leopard? I'm just going to try and think of a sawing leopard now in my mind and get it right. The problem with making sounds when you can't prep for them is that you actually struggle to get the right tone. You have to do it a few times first before you get it. I'm just trying to think now of a leopard sawing, the right sort of frequency I need to hit. Let me think. I might have to play one for myself and then I'll be able to do it. But they basically sound like somebody sawing wood, so I suppose I can make that sound. Although, the problem with a leopard is it's very deep and guttural. Ah, James, you're wondering if civets ever vocalize. Now, James, I can honestly say I have never heard a civet vocalize. I even once had a civet and a porcupine sniffing one another and going nose to nose, and the porcupine was making a series of little grunts and noises, but the civet was absolutely dead quiet. I would imagine they can produce a sound, I just don't know what that sound is. So, I'm not sure, actually. I'll have to try and look that up, but I've personally never heard a civet making a noise, so I'm not quite sure. I'm pretty sure they would make a noise if... Actually, I lie, sorry. I do lie about this. I know that civets do make a lot of noise, but I've never personally seen it. But a friend of mine watched a civet being killed by a leopard and being treed by a leopard on Arathusa airstrip, and that civet... Hold on, what is that? Apparently made an absolute racket. It was screaming and making lots of noise, but he didn't replicate the sound for me, but he did say that it made a lot of screaming sounds, which are not very pleasant to hear. So other than that, though, I'm not sure if they actually have a vocalizing. They must do to be able to attract mates other than leaving civetries, because remember, civets will defecate in the same place, and that will be a way of others finding them. But they must be some sort of vocalizing call, and I'm actually going to go and try and find out if I can find a civet call. There is a book that you can get that has the animal pictures, and then you have like a little pen that you touch on the picture and it plays the call for you. So that's what we needed now, Craig. We needed that book, and then we could have just pretended like we actually doing the calls, but just play them. No one would know, would they? Probably not, eh, Craig? Although it sounds very digital, in which case that wouldn't be us at all. I wonder if any of the... We actually should have a a showdown amongst the crew. I think that's going to be a fine idea, is that every crew member has to pick an animal noise and we see who can do them, and everybody's got to attempt everybody else's animal noise. I think that would be quite fun. It's definitely a good game that we could play. Megan, maybe for a Safari Live story, animal noises of Safari Live. There we go, we're just thinking out the box here as we're going. So we know that in the frog call department there were some that were very good, in particular our fearless leader Stefan Winterboer, who was able to do a multitude of frog calls and do them very well. So I think Steph definitely won when it came to the frog calls. In terms of some of the others, well, I'm not so sure we can describe some of those frog calls as calls. They were more along the lines of complete. Craig's one was pretty good actually. Craig did alright. Who else did quite well? Eggsy did a good one. So Eggsy, who has made his TV appearance this morning as the little man under the closet, which was highly entertaining. For those of you who didn't see that, he was part of the TV show this morning inadvertently, because he was trying to hide away and was stuck underneath a cupboard, and it was very funny to see a picture of him hiding underneath there. I did have a good chuckle to myself this morning when I saw that. So Eggsy had a good sound. He did a good frog impersonation. Who else was a standout performer that day? Not quite sure actually. Now we know Ellie will win with the rhino. She does a rhino really well. I'm not sure what about Taylor, what she does. I'll have to think and see if we can't find out what Taylor's favorite call is and get her to do one in the morning. But I'm going to try and find my leopard call and see if I can't do it for you. And while I do that, since Byron the Fabulous suggested that I should do a buffalo, maybe he's got a buffalo of his own that he would like to, well, tell you all about and make a sound about.
No, Tristan, I'm leaving the buffalo call up to you. I'm not going to do a buffalo sound or call, a sound rather, I suppose, the grunt of a buffalo. No, we're in search of little creatures, owls perhaps. I just heard a barred owl calling, a little barred owlet, but it was a little bit too far to look for it. Checking these drainage areas. Kev, you asked with us now mimicking these animal calls, which animals mimic humans? Now, Kev, I don't think any animals mimic us in the wild. You know, in zoos and that perhaps, so when they trained or something, perhaps, yes, but in the wild, I don't think any animals would mimic us, and why would they? Kev, to be honest, we're quite useless out here. We really are, because our eyesight isn't very good, our hearing isn't great, and our sense of smell is terrible compared to the other animals. So there's no reason why animals would want to mimic us. Also because we don't occur naturally out in nature, so they wouldn't know what we are, so there's no reason for them to mimic us. Yeah, so I don't think any animals mimic us, not at all. Like I say, not in wild, not in the wild, in zoos and rehabilitation centers and that, perhaps because they probably get more accustomed to people and spend more time with people. If you look at monkeys and that, monkeys would, I suppose, mimic us in a sense, but I think generally speaking, no, animals wouldn't. Come on, we've got to find a little owl, perhaps. A little pearl-spotted owl, that would be wonderful. Gladwell, we see a few different species of birds at night. Some of the night jars, they're nocturnal little birds, very well camouflaged. They sit on the trees, they sit on the ground at night, and they try to catch insects. Often on the roads. Now we also get bronze-winged coursers. Depends on the time of the year though. Some birds are more active in the summer rather than in the winter when there are more insects out. And then also a number of owl species. We do get a number of owls around here, and I'm hoping we find some owls in the next what am I here for, another 2 weeks or so. So hopefully we can find some owls. was lucky last time. I actually found a number of pearl spotted owls. I think it was like 2 or 3. And always lovely to see them. So glad, well, there are a few different nocturnal bird species. Also thick knees, water and spotted thick knees we do get in this area. You can see my multitasking is being tested again. The driving, talking to camera, using the spotlight, trying to find animals. And who says men cannot multitask? Tesla, age 7. Hello, Tesla. You wanted to know how big a honey badger is. So, Tesla, a honey badger, let me show you quickly. Honey badger, if it was here in front of me, it's probably about maybe a bit longer with the tail. So, let's say from this. I don't know. No. I'm just trying to. It's about this long, Tesla. If I can, there, not that long maybe, but it's about this tall. Not very tall. So it would be standing. Maybe a little bit taller than that. They're not very big, Tesla, quite small creatures, but incredibly tenacious and not afraid of anything. They're wonderful, wonderful animals. But that's about the size of a honey badger. But I've heard many funny stories with honey badgers, with them chasing other animals, and I've seen them chase wild dogs before. They're not afraid. I've seen them. I've seen video clips of them chasing lions. So they really are amazing, amazing creatures. Oh, Sparkle, you asked how many young honey badger can have in a litter. I thought it was 2 or 3. Hold on a second, Sparkle. Let me quickly look for you. I think that's what it is. Let me double check it quickly. 2 seconds. 5 minutes left of the show. There we go, honey badger. I think 2 to 3 cubs, exactly. I'm so glad. I was nervous for a second. I thought I was doubting myself. So honey badgers have 2 to 3 cubs, and a gestation period of about 60 days, Sparkle. So that's the honey badger. But I thought so, yeah, it's about 2 to 3. I've never seen young honey badgers. Oh, I'd love to. They must be so cute. Definitely must be very, very cute. Roshni, speaking of the honey badger, what do I wish to see next? Well, like I was saying, I think a wonderful owl, would be wonderful. Would be great to see. Just maybe a little owl sitting out somewhere to end off the show. That would be ideal, I think. But it's sometimes difficult to spot these little owls unless you hear them calling and you can really look for them. Sometimes you just get a glimpse of one sitting out in the open. It would be nice to see one of the larger ones, the giant eagle owl or the Verreaux's eagle owl, that very, very big bird, or the spotted eagle owl. Actually saw quite a few of those now in the Kalahari, which was lovely. And you get a lot of the spotted eagle owls. Alright, I think unless we find an owl, I think Tristan's going to end off the show. Let's head across to him. He's got some zebra in infrared.
We do indeed. So their black and white pattern is perfect for this because, well, that's the color that they are. So even though we've gone into infrared mode, it still is exactly the same. And isn't that beautiful? Little zebra on the road zebra crossing, there we go. And there's a couple more coming out of the bush, and they're all slowly but surely heading down towards quarantine. There's a pregnant female. Look at the size of her belly. She's definitely got a little one somewhere inside there. It's not close to full term yet because she'll get bigger, but definitely looks as though she has got somewhat of a pregnant. Is it a female? It is, yes. And it looks as though she's actually starting to produce a bit of milk there. You can see her teats are starting to swell, which means that she'll be getting closer towards giving birth. Definitely quite round. Not heavily pregnant yet. I wonder if maybe she hasn't already given birth and this is just the after effects. Let's see if any of the young ones start coming out. Sometimes you'll find she'll come out and then a little calf will come behind it, and we know that there is a tiny calf somewhere here, or foal should I say, because we had that tiny foal on quarantine a few weeks ago. So I wonder if maybe her little foal is not somewhere here. Hello. I always love the way zebras eat. Exquisite Bliss, you say you love how the contrast in their coat stands out. It is very nice, and especially in IR, it seems to almost pop a little bit more and kind of make them really visible to us, and we get this beautiful sort of sight of them. So very nice that there is this ability to go into an IR mode, and the contrasting black and white does stand out when it is IR. I think we're going to carry on though and leave our zebras, because if there are little ones around, I don't want to stress them too much at all. Let's turn that off. So we're just turning off our lights as we go past, because we don't want to in any way blind any of the zebras with these big powerful light bars. Sammy Jane, you say what a wonderful drive. It has been an epic afternoon. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself, and sounds like Byron has too, and hopefully all of you have as well. It's been lots happening this afternoon, which is fantastic because, well, it's been a quiet few days at times over the last week, so really nice to have little Hosana around and doing his thing, lots of the Ellies playing and swimming at Chitwa Dam, and that's a welcome sight for anybody. So hopefully they'll be back and around, and we'll see a lot more of them over the next little bit, which is fantastic. But it is unfortunately that time, so from Byron, myself, Craig and Sebastian, we'll see you tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Safari.